Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Nana's Stamping Room. I am just going to wait a little bit to see if we can find some people to join us. I'm very excited about this week's cards. I'm having trouble with my computer because it makes me use Microsoft Edge now instead of regular Explorer, and I have a hard time finding things. And I just want to see if any of you are on. Oh, there you are. I hope that you can hear me. I am a little bit crooked. So I'm going to try to fix that. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you see me? So I'm going to try to fix that. Okay. So if anybody joins, if they could just comment at the bottom, I will know that you're here. Today we're going to start with week 7's cards. And the first one is going to be one that I made for autumn, since that is the time of the year we're at. Here I have the basket. Here's the card. It's using the Plaid Designer Series paper and the new in color cinnamon cider. So let's get started. I'm going to lay this up here so you can see it while we're working. For the words for this card, I used Quite Curvy, which is a premiere set from the catalog, from the new catalog, which is available from now till December 31st. It's got a lot of cute little curvy ideas in it. And I'm going to use cinnamon cider ink. And this is one of the curvy dies. It's going to cut out these little leaves here. So, I've already got the leaves cut out on the plaid paper. Let me just get some cardstock out here. I'm going to fold my card in half using my bone folder. Bone folders just make such nice, crisp folds. Okay, so now here's some different ideas. If you want, you could put some white paper behind these leaves and color them in different colors. Or I provided you with this bumblebee strip that you can use adhesive to place it on the back. Now, I was thinking if I could use the striped side, but that doesn't really look very good. So I'm going to use the yellow side and some adhesive, and that will give us some nice crisp yellow leaves for autumn. Now, as you can see, I didn't cut this exactly right because I want to be sure it reached all the way, so I'm just going to trim that off with my paper snips. Then I have some very vanilla paper. See, when you put this very vanilla paper behind it without that yellow strip, you could use your Stampin' Write markers or your blends or the colored pencils to color in each leaf a different color. I did not do that, but you are more than welcome to. So we're going to adhere this here. Actually, first we're going to stamp the I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to stamp the words so that we know if we have to turn the paper over because we made a mistake. So here's my sponge that I put underneath because it is a clear stamp set. And this one says, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. Let me find my block. I put it in a different stamp set and a different basket. Here it is. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to adhere these words to my block, ink them up, now notice how I got some cinnamon cider on this side. I do not want to do that in case I would smear it onto my paper, so I'm just going to, you can have some paper towels at your station just for that. And I'm going to place it, I'm going to look again, I still have some more down here. So I'm going to place it right down here at the bottom. There we go, very nice. Then we're going to move our sponge, close our ink, and adhere the plaid piece to the vanilla piece. I just like the vanilla a little bit more than the white for an autumn card. And I'm just going to place this a little bit above the words. Sometimes it's hard to see looking at it this way. There. And I'm going to adhere this to my cinnamon cider card base. Now for the inside, what you could do is I'm going to include some of these strips, and you could just add a strip of paper on the bottom, on the side. That will be up to you. But I think that that would kind of dress up the inside of your card. Now, you notice here on my card, I stamped some leaves and cut them out and colored them in different colors. Since I can't stamp for you, maybe you have some little leaves, maybe you have some acorns, something like that, or something else that looks like fall, and you can put those in the corner. So there we are, card number 1. Moving on to card number 2. It is really warm here today. It's 70 degrees. I actually could roll my trash can out barefooted. I didn't have to put on my socks and shoes. Okay, here is the one, card number 2 for today. It is Magenta Madness, which is one of our new colors with the Blossom and Bloom die cuts. And I made this via Get Well card because I thought, what a nice bright color if you weren't feeling well. Maybe it would cheer your day. So, let's get out of the basket what we need. We need some flowers. We need some cardstock to go behind it. We need ink, Magenta Madness ink, and a card base. And of course, the stamp that says Get Well. Now you can make this be whatever you would like. Herbie is just laying over here, chewing on his toy, not on anything that he's not supposed to chew on. So the first step, as always, I'm going to fold my Magenta Madness. Then, when I cut this out, I put the adhesive on the back. Sorry, somebody was calling me on a video chat, which I can't video chat now because I'm doing live. Okay. So notice when I peel it off, it keeps most of those little pieces that didn't come off when you were putting them through the machine, and there's just a couple that you're going to have to poke out. So, I was hoping that all of them would poke out, but they did not. I will work harder next time to get them out then, ahead of time. Okay, so now we're going to add this to the bottom of our page. You might have just a little bit sticking over the edge. In fact, I'm going to cut this flower off because it's not a whole flower. And it looks a little strange, so I'm just going to snip it here and here. There. So, there we go. And it lays down so nicely with that adhesive sheet behind it. Then we're going to get our sponge, actually our foam, because again this is a clear photopolymer. And I'm going to stamp Get Well in the corner. And perhaps I should have stamped it before I added it, because in case I make a mistake, but sorry about that. Let me just message him on this thing and I will tell him that I am doing a live. Okay. Sorry, so sorry about this. Okay. So now I'm going to adhere this piece to our card base. This is a really fast one. And I'm just going to trim the bottom here because there's a little bit hanging off. And I'm going to add this to my card front. Voila, you have a Get Well card. Ready, quick, and easy. Okay, so now we're finished with card number 2. Alright, so now we're moving on to card number 3, which is our Christmas card for today. I know that you probably can't see in the picture, but these trees all look frosted because I used some of our shimmer paint to make them look frosted. Alright, so what are we going to need? We're going to need a stamp with the words, and for the trees, I used Rooted in Nature for the little pine trees. So let me just get out all my pieces. And I'm going to need the white backing, the white background. Okay, so the first thing we shall do is fold our card base in half. Then we're going to take this sheet, the small white, and we're going to stamp our Christmas trees. For this I used Mossy Meadow is the color I used. And I used the two, look at how black my other ones are, but they still work great. So I'm going to get out the tree by itself and the two trees. I'm going to use the tree by itself to fill in if I think I need more. And I'm going to simply get them on here straight. Let me just see if they look pretty straight. Okay. I'm going to ink them. And I'm just going to kind of stamp, then move over and stamp again. And then I'm going to I really need to bring my paper towels in here. Stamp, and then stamp again. Now for these, I think that I've got them pretty filled in. So I'm going to use my chamois, my Simply Chamois, and I'm going to clean this stamp. See, all clean. I keep it in my old Stamp and Mist container. And I'm going to take my Frosted White Shimmer Paint with a sponge dauber, and I'm going to get some paint on my dauber, and I'm going to daub it onto my trees. It doesn't have to completely cover them because you just want some frost on the branches. And you don't even have to line this up perfectly, but it gets pretty close if you just kind of look at it. And I stamp, and it just kind of gives a shimmer in the tree. And then I get some more, dab it on there again. Now, if you don't have any of our shimmer paint, what you could use is the Wink of Stella, and you could control more where it was going to go if you had Wink of Stella. So now I think that looks pretty good. Now I have shimmer paint on my hands, mossy meadow on my hands. I'm just a mess. But that's part of the fun of stamping. Then I'm going to stamp on the bottom of here the thinking of you, so that I know where I can place my trees. Open up the mossy meadow again. Okay, I'm going to hold it straight. There you go. Now you can see I got a little bit of ink there. So what I'm going to do later, not right now, so that I don't have to leave it, I'm going to get a rhinestone and I'm going to hide that little spot. It'll look perfect there. You can always fix your cards. Okay, then we're going to line this up on here. I might even have some snowflakes left from last year to hide that spot. Add that to there. Some more adhesive on the back. And here we go. A great Christmas tree. Now on the inside, you could use the same tree stamp that you used on the inside and put either a little Wink of Stella or some of the shimmer paint on the trees. It just kind of gives it a frosted look when you look at it. So there is card number 3. We're moving right along today. Okay, let me close up my Mossy Meadow ink so I don't get it all over. And we'll get ready to make card number 4. and hopefully we won't get any mossy meadow. This one is using our new color, Just Jade. This is one of the new ink colors, so we need the Just Jade ink, the stamp, the white background, and this is the Forever Green DSP, and I've already cut it and adhered it to the piece of Just Jade cardstock. And we'll need a circle for our words and a black circle for behind the words, and a card base. So it looks like I froze on my computer. I don't know if I froze on your computer. But I'll just keep working so that I can post it later if it doesn't work out. Okay, making my crisp fold. Here is my white. Now this time we're working in portrait. Let me just find, here's the Forever Fern stamp set, which is just great. It has just so many real looking ferns and lots of good words. So let me get out the fern. And I'm going to put that on this. Now I just kind of want to stamp some here so that some kind of come out the top. And it's going to be a little hard to decide where I think I'm going to put this piece. So I'm just going to kind of lay it here and look so I can kind of get an idea of where I want to put these. I want them to kind of come up here. Now it's not going to matter if their branches cross over here because it's going to be underneath the Designer Series paper. So I think that looks pretty good. Maybe two of them and maybe a light one back there. So then I'm going to take my adhesive and I'm going to adhere it to the card, to the background base. Then I'm going to take, this is a circle that I punched. It is a 1 3/4 circle, and it fits perfect inside the painted labels circle die. So I'm going to try to get my words straight because usually I like to stamp then cut, but for Facebook Live I'm trying to get better at getting my words straight. I'm going to tap, stamp. That's not too bad. And I will adhere this. Okay. And then I'm going to adhere this to the background. Getting my words straight. See how nice that looks with just some coming up here? Then we're going to adhere this to our cardstock. Now for the inside of this card, I would probably just do some more of these leaves coming up out of the corner. And there you go. A very nice card to send to a friend. So now we move on to our last card for this week. And it's using the Peony die cuts. So here's our card with the peony flower. This is the new vellum squares that you can purchase. And this uses the nested rectangles to cut out a little tag with hello. So let's get out our pieces. We're going to need 4 pieces for the flower. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have 2 insides for the flower. We need a tag. And we need a doily. The doilies come in a package like this. I just thought this added some texture in the background. So, now can you notice that my doily in there looks like cherry cobbler? So that's because I'm going to use my light cherry cobbler blender pen. Now, if you don't have the cherry cobbler blender pen, you can use a sponge dauber and the ink, because that will work too. So I'm simply going to add some color to this doily and to my grid paper behind it. Okay, now you don't have to really worry about the middle because it's not going to show, but I do have a spot over here I can see I missed. Okay. I still missed it. Okay. There we go. So that's the first step. And now we're going to build, I'm going to get my mono adhesive. And we're going to build the flower. I hope that you can remember from the last time we built a flower. We're going to take the smallest piece and put it inside the next bigger piece and line up the bottoms. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you will, I have this one. Okay, I forgot a step. I forgot, see how I added some shading around the edges? You want to do that before you put the flower together. I think it's easier. So I just took my sponge dauber and daubed the edges. The edges that are going to show. Just a little with cherry cobbler. Just to give it some texture and some depth. So, there you go. So I would just, if I wasn't trying to make this so your hair not here all day, I would do them all. But I will just for now do that many and know that I would do these other two also. So now we're going to stick the smallest into the next size up and we're going to match the bottoms. Can you see how they perfectly match together down there? They have the same notches, which will make this be perfect up here. Then we're going to take this and put this into the third smallest. And again, line up the edges. Every time you do these, they just get a little bit easier and easier to line up those edges. There we go. They're not quite there yet. Here they are. See, I say it's going to be easier and then it seems harder, doesn't it? Then we're going to add this one to this one. And again, we're going to line up the bottom edges. So this is what it would look like. Then I'm going to add, now you can take your mono adhesive and just add a little glue in each layer. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to take it back apart later and finish sponging the edges. And then you can glue these two insides of the, this time I used 2 because it makes it just a little bit bigger. Only my nails don't seem to be cooperating with me today. So this is where they would go, right here in the middle. 1. And then the other one. Then push all my flowers back together so that they're even on the bottom. I guess if I had glued them, I wouldn't have this trouble. Okay. So now that's ready. I'm going to pop it off the doily, the vellum doily with a dimensional. Then I'm going to take my little tag here and I'm going to stamp hello in the cherry cobbler. A little crooked, so let's try again. That's better. Then I'm going to get my card base. This paper is from the Peony DFP. They have such beautiful pieces in there. I thought the gray kind of just made the petal pink and the cherry cobbler stand out, so that's why I used the gray side, but this side would be all gray, but this is kind of looks like somebody used pencil etching to me. And if you wanted to, you could take your colored pencils or your stamp and write markers or your blends, and you could kind of color all these in if you wanted to. So we're going to adhere this to our card base. And then next will come our doily. Our flower popped up with a dimensional. And then this little tag glued right down here. And there you have it. A very pretty card to send to someone who's not feeling well, whose birthday, or just to send a card. Well, I hope you certainly enjoyed all the cards we had today. And meet me back here next Tuesday at noon Central Time, and I'll have the live video for week 8. And look for the cards to be posted on NanaStanfordRoom.com and Nana Stanford Room on Facebook. I will post the new cards tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.